Good morning and welcome back to Beauty Bee, where today I am being a content thief. I saw this idea on Lainey's channel, Makeup with Lainey. I will have her linked down in the description box, of course. She does a lot of project panning, and I kind of suspect that anyone who watches my channel also gets her in their recommendations, just because I feel like we make fairly similar content, and just judging by the people who comment on her videos, there does seem to be quite a bit of overlap. But if you haven't, I would strongly recommend checking her out. I really enjoy her content. She is one of the few creators who I very, very rarely miss a video from. About a week ago, she posted a video on what she would pack if she were to go on a fantasy vacation to Italy. I'm not going anywhere soon, obviously. I guess that's not obvious because the only thing stopping me is my personal responsibility to be a good citizen of the world, but let's say obviously, because I do want to be a responsible citizen. If I had the option of going anywhere in the world right now, budget was no issue, nothing was any issue, I think I'd go to Egypt. I really enjoyed mummy exhibits at museums since I was very small. I distinctly remember being probably 6 or 7 and going to the Field Museum and seeing King Tut. I thought that was the coolest thing. And even a couple summers ago when I went to Britain, my first stop at the British Museum was, where are the mummies? Let's find them. And I did try to bring some of the realities of going to Egypt specifically into my planning. So first, it's going to be really hot and it's going to be really sunny, which means I'm probably going to be wearing a hat. I'm probably going to be wearing sunglasses the majority of the time I'm outside. So my makeup is going to be a little bit bolder in the lips and a little bit lighter on the eyes. I'm also going to be wearing a lot of sunscreen, so I didn't want to have a lot of cream products or a lot of foundation, concealer, etc. that would stop me from reapplying throughout the day. I would definitely do more research if I was actually headed over there on social norms. I suspect that I would also need to wear some high necklines and longer sleeves. So I suspect that would mean that I would be wearing my white cardigan or like a silky-ish button-up shirt quite a bit of the time, because those are the warm weather items that I have that also fit those modesty guidelines. So I was keeping the outfits that I would actually be wearing in mind as I was doing my little fantasy packing. And I ended up with this little bag. Now I will say this is traveling pretty heavy for me as far as makeup goes. Usually I keep things pretty light because I almost always travel with just a carry-on, and I've actually done a travel video on what I put in my tiny little makeup bag when I'm traveling very light, which I will link up in the cards, but let's get into it. I think we're going to start with brushes because let's just get the boring stuff out of the way. I'm going to bring this tiny little powder brush. I use this both for pressed powder, which I suspect I would be using quite a bit of, as well as for bronzer. I also have a little bit of a bigger, fluffier bronzer brush that I will use quite often, and I'm going to bring both of those. I suspect that I will end up using this one mostly for powder, this one for bronzer, but I use them pretty interchangeably. I also have 2 blush brushes because I am overpacking. I don't know. I do use these differently though, so I will give myself credit for that. I use this one over a very large portion of my face. I will often put blush all the way up to my temples, across my nose, just basically covering the middle third of my face in blush, and then I will add yet more blush because when is enough ever really enough? And I'll just put that right on the apple of my cheek using a smaller blush brush like this one. So those are both coming with me as well. I'm also packing 2 highlighter brushes, but because they're attached, it only counts as one. So there's a win for me. And keeping with my duos, because I love duos for traveling, I have actually two of this EcoTools brush duo. It has a shader brush, an angled liner brush, a blending crease brush, and a smudger brush. And I like it so much that I've purchased it twice. Love these. These are great for traveling. I've had one of these sets for like 4 years at this point. It is a very rare day when I don't use them, and they are in good enough shape that I'm actually not sure which the older brushes are and which the newer brushes are. So now for my other eye brushes, I wanted an even bigger blending brush. This is what I use when either I have really gone overboard and put something way too dark down and I just need to blend out the edges, or I'm going for the most soft, super diffused crease ever, because this covers a huge area. It is very soft, it's very light. This is just a really handy little brush to have around. I have a tiny little detail brush, and then my small crease brush from e.l.f. I think they call this the detail crease brush. This is great for putting just a little bit of color in the crease. This shape is probably about perfect for me because I have quite hooded eyes. If I really do want the color in my crease to take center stage, this is what I use. The boring everyday stuff, I have eye primer. This is the Wet n Wild one. It's the one I use all the time. I have mascara. I actually probably need to open a new mascara, but for right now, we're just showing the CoverGirl 3-in-1. I go in between this and whatever high-end mascara I can get as a gift with purchase, and I'm quite happy with it. I've been using that for years. Another item that I repurchase over and over again is the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. Sometimes I will bring a powder when I'm traveling, but I also just like the ease of having the pencil. I can fill it in even more quickly with this than I can with my powder and an angled liner brush. And I like not needing to pack my angled liner brush because I use a very specific angled liner brush every day for my brows, and the convenience of having the spoolie right with me. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, we can finally get to the fun stuff. I think we're going to start with the one base product that I'm going to bring with me, which is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. This is a multi-purpose tool for me. I will sometimes dot this all over my face and then mix in some moisturizer and use it almost as foundation. I can cover blemishes. I can brighten my under eye a little bit if I didn't sleep very well, which is probably going to be happening because jet lag is not a joke. And I think I want to talk about the eye stuff that I am bringing next. I made a little palette to take with me. The first item in this palette is actually not an eye thing. This is the IT Cosmetics by Pores pressed powder. I had this in like the worst sample packaging ever, and I just depotted it from that and stuck it in a magnetic palette. I would absolutely be bringing this with me because I do often need to set down sunscreen if I put a good amount on, which I really hope I'm putting a good amount on because this is Egypt, for goodness sakes. And so that will be a necessary element to my routine. And I wanted to keep my eyes fairly soft and fairly neutral. I wanted some pretty warm options, but I also wanted to have some slightly cooler possibilities. This is sort of a champagne rose shade, and then we have this gunmetal blue. Obviously, this dark blue could go with this warm neutral color scheme in like a very 2018 warm tone neutrals with a pop of blue kind of way, but it could also mix in with the cooler shades quite well. I think I could get a nice variety of looks out of the palette that I've made. I don't tend to go super, super dark on my eye, but I do have a little bit of depth in this palette with the blue, with this gunmetal, and to some extent with the camel shade. I can quite often use that to deepen up an outer corner, especially considering that the lid shades that I've packed are quite light. And I've decided to bring along this shade. This shade is actually a mixture of a bunch of old sleek shadows. And I used this pretty much every day all over my lid when I went to the UK, just because it was so easy and quick and looked really put together in the morning without actually spending a lot of time getting ready. So I decided that that was definitely going to come along on another trip with me as well. I would also bring one more eyeshadow, though I would probably use it almost exclusively as a highlighter. This is from Kiko. This is one of their Bright Duo baked eyeshadows, and this yellow is the most beautiful highlighter for me. I'm wearing it today. It is, I wouldn't even say that it's gold. I think it's yellow, but it catches the light in such a beautiful way. It really does blend in with my skin tone better than any other sort of goldish highlighter that I've ever found. I am very, very fond of this. Honestly, I've only had this for a couple of weeks, and you can see this used to be, symmetric, and I have significantly worn down this yellow side. Let's cover the rest of the eye stuff that I'll be bringing. I would definitely want to bring a pencil liner as well as my black liquid liner. If I am doing pretty minimal eyeshadow, I will quite often do a wing or put a lot of eyeliner around my eyes just to bring a little bit of interest, a little bit of definition to that area. And honestly, I would pack these no matter where I was going. I would also be packing this. This is again from Kiko. This is the Super Color Waterproof Eyeliner. I'm wearing it today. It's what I've used to do my wing. And this is so easy to use, and it is just dark enough that it's interesting without being super graphic and stark the way that black eyeliner is. I really like this. I think that it is perfect for summer, and I think it's something that I'm going to be reaching for a lot. Both like in real life and on my fantasy Egyptian vacation. I think I would use this a ton. Since we've already kind of started with cheeks, let's move fully into that category. I would bring 3 blushes with me, which is, I know, kind of a lot, but I like blush and we're not exactly packing light here. The first one would be my Wet n Wild Rosé Champagne blush. This is one that I would use over a huge portion of my face, and then I would top that off with just a little bit of Tarte Quirky, which is a coral. I think that this blush is a great one to pack because not only does it work with Rosé Champagne, which is a little bit more on the peachy side, I find that it also works really well with the other blush that I have packed, which is Orgasm from NARS. This is just a tiny little mini, which again, makes it perfect for travel. This also plays really nicely with this peachy pink with a lot of shimmer to it. I guess that I technically have 4 blushes because I'm also planning to bring my Wet n Wild Baked Blush. This is in the shade Hummingbird Hype, and you can't see the hummingbird because it was upside down, but there's what that looks like. I tend to use this more as a blush topper / highlighter. When I use it, I tend to think of it as replacing highlighter, so I'm thinking of it more as that. And packing 2 highlighters seems a lot less excessive than packing 4 blushes, so my story is that it's a highlighter and I am sticking to that. I would definitely want to pack a bronzer, and I think the one that I would likely bring if I were to narrow it down to just one is Laguna from NARS. This was part of the birthday gift this year. This is matte, but it's not super flat. It does have a little bit of a satin sheen to it, and I love that about it. It looks really natural. I find this really easy to use. And I mean, there is a tiny little mirror on there that I've just blinded you with if I wanted to do like one eyebrow with a mirror, maybe? I don't really know what the purpose of that tiny mirror is, but I appreciate that it's there. I think that it at least adds to the cuteness factor of this little compact, even if it doesn't really add to the practicality of the item. And with that, we move to the area that I am the absolute worst at narrowing down, which is definitely lip products. I overpack lip products, even if I'm going on like a 2-day weekend trip. There will be like 4 lipsticks in my bag. So if I'm going on a dream vacation, you can imagine there are going to be quite a few lip products traveling with me. I've broken this up into some more neutral shades, which we'll go through first, and then I have some brighter, more vibrant colors that I'll save for a little bit later. I like to have at least a couple of neutral lipsticks along, and I have more than a couple. I keep saying lipsticks, but I really mean just general lip products when I'm saying that. The first one that I'm putting in the more neutral category is really debatable if it's neutral or not. I think that I could wear this in a way that was pretty neutral by shearing it out a little bit. This is from Kiko, and it is their, I think, Unexpected Paradise Pop Revolution lip gloss. This is the shade Pumpkin, and it's very bright, but I think that I could wear this down a little bit, and I could wear that as a neutral, I think. Anyway, I'm putting it in this category, so it's my video. No one gets to argue with me. Also bring a couple of other lip glosses. I bring one that was a little bit more pink. This is Tiramisu from NYX. It's one of their butter glosses. This is a shade that I can wear with pretty much anything, but it does have enough color to it that I'm very happy to wear it without anything underneath. There's that shade, and I'm also going to bring this really nude lip gloss. This is Nudist from Beauty For Real. This is just a tiny little mini, and it is a very sheer milky nude lip gloss. I don't even know how well you're going to be able to see that in a swatch, but that's where it is. This is something that I would probably end up using more as a topper than wearing it by itself, but like most lip glosses, it also looks fine on its own. I would also bring 2 lip bullets. First, we have a tinted lip balm. This is from NARS. It is the Laguna Afterglow lip balm. It is very lightly tinted. It's right there. And then I brought along one nude lipstick. This is from Dior. It's the Rouge Dior 100 nude look, and it is very pretty. It is a peachy nude that I swatched in a really awkward spot, so let me do that again. There it is. I really like this color. I think that it is easy to wear. It also meshes well with both of these lip glosses, which gives me yet more variety in my nude lips, because, you know, bringing 5 lip products along to cover the category of nude or neutral just isn't enough, apparently. Before we move on to the brights, I'm also going to be bringing an EOS lip balm. I put this in here because this is the best lip balm to wear under really bright lipsticks. It doesn't do a whole lot to actually moisturize your lips, which, bummer, but it is really easy to wear underneath like matte liquid lipsticks, which I didn't bring any of, or just bolder lip colors that have a tendency to maybe cling to some dry patches. It really seems to smooth the area out without messing with the formula of the lipsticks too much. So I'm bringing that, and it smells like peaches. It smells like really fake peach candy, and I enjoy that very much. So now we get to the fun part, which are the really bright, bold lipsticks. I'm going to start with my red lip liner. This is from e.l.f. and it is a red lip liner. That's really all there is to this product. I've got it swatched right there. I am bringing a red lip. I'm actually bringing a couple of red lips, as well as a pink that this also goes really well with. So let's go through the 2 reds. I first have what I'm wearing today. This is Elson 2. It's from Pat McGrath. It is a very orangey red, and it is matte, and it's lovely. I don't need to swatch it because I'm wearing it. I'm really enjoying this color. I think it's really pretty, and I think that with the sort of bronzy, warm eyes that I intend on wearing during this fantasy vacation, I think this would be a great color to go with it. Another red that I'm bringing with me, because apparently I have no chill, is this Rouge Jour 999 lipstick. This is also beautiful. This is also a bit of an orangey red. This is a very tomatoey red, though in comparison to Elson 2, this looks practically blue-based. For me, this is very much like an old Hollywood glamour kind of red lip. It's also a satin finish, which means that these 2 are different, and they both deserve a spot in my bag, even if they aren't, and maybe they shouldn't. The pink that I mentioned that goes really well with that red lip liner is from Flower. This is the matte lipstick in the shade Rosy Garden. It is a hot pink. Swatch that. Very bright, very fun. I think this color is beautiful. I find it very flattering on me. And then finally, to round out not only the bright lips, but all of the products that I'm bringing with me, we have a Revlon Super Lustrous lipstick. This is in the shade Kiss Me Coral, and it is an orange. A corally orange, yes, but very much orange. And there is what I'm bringing with me. I really wish I was going somewhere now. I think Lainey mentioned this in her video too, but the one downside to doing this, even though it's really fun in the moment, is that it makes you wish you were actually going somewhere, and now I'm a tiny bit bummed out. But I did have a lot of fun doing this, and I would consider doing another one. I really did enjoy packing this little bag. Planning for a trip is almost as much fun as taking the trip itself. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did. And of course, if you did, definitely check out Lainey's video because it's the same concept. You would probably really like that one too. Thanks again for watching, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye!